world? It's your boy, Mike Muse, for the Conversation of the Mike Muse Show. I am so excited to be in conversation with my next guest. I have been a fan of hers for so long. And when she came in here, I've been playing it cool. We've been talking about sweaters and just really pajama sets. Sidebar, I'm really pushing pajama sets. I'm trying to get more Americans, in particular men, to wear pajama sets. Listen, I got these doorbuster sales at JCPenney's for $19.99, and I am obsessed. Well, my sweater's $19.99, but the pajamas are $9.99. And I think it's the best form of self-care, so I've been promoting it. And so I've been talking to my next guest of all things I know about pajamas and sweaters, and she probably thinks I am batshit crazy, and I probably am. So I'm just going to get into it because we've been talking. Ladies and gentlemen, the incredible, the talented Teedra Moses. What's happening?
Hey, baby.
How you feeling today?
I'm feeling very blessed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's just get to it. We've been talking off air.
Yeah,
Pajamas or no pajamas?
No pajamas. But I think you brought up a very good point. Even though I can't sleep in pajamas, I could put them on to lounging, and then because I pretty much don't like to wear anything when I go to sleep.
Yeah.
But I think you can put them on to lounging before you go to sleep. And
I think so.
That's a cool thing.
What about like on a Saturday when you wake up in the morning? Like if you're just lounging all day, you about to binge a show.
That's a great idea.
Right.
Because I don't have clothes on when I wake
Yeah.
up.
I
So
like
it'd be
that.
great to put, sleeping without clothes is the best thing in the world. Because you're just skin
Is it the
to
freedom?
your skin.
Is it freedom?
I don't know. It just feels really good in the sheets. And I also, I go to this place actually in New Jersey called Dolly Moo to get all of my body butters and whipped soaps and stuff like that. And it smells so good. And so once I get it out of the shower or out of the bathtub and I get in my sheets, it's like all over my sheets because I don't have any clothes on. And so whenever I get in my bed, I can smell that. And so I think that helps me want to not wear clothes. And I sweat. I don't like to sweat.
So are you big into aromatherapy then? Like, are you like a candles?
Yeah, I do. I like candles and stuff like that,
Incense?
but I'm not extra. It's not big into it. I'm just.
Okay.
I think it's just like comes with my lifestyle.
Lifestyle.
Candles and incense. Yeah.
Just for calming?
It's for covering the smell of the cannabis.
Got it. Okay. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Okay. You're
Yeah.
like, Mike, it's not that deep. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. Cool. You
Lifestyle,
you like, yeah, let's not do it. Okay. You're not too deep. The reason why I asked is because, like, during the pandemic, I noticed that how much I love the smell of candles, and I started noticing how much it actually calms me down. And so I kind of have this ritual now when I wake up. So I wake up, I either light an incense or I light a candle every day, and then I get into my sage. And I get into my Palo Santo, so I've gotten really deep into like this aromatherapy. And for me, it's just really me and Davian, too, our videographer, creative director. We were just talking about colognes and how we both have invested for the first time heavy into scents.
Same here.
And I spent the most, probably about 4 years ago, I've ever spent on a scent, and now I'm hooked on it. So
there was one that I loved. I got it in a sample. Time for it. I loved it. It was beautiful. I couldn't remember what it was, but I found the thing. I was like, oh, I'm going to go and buy it. Just going to go to Saks Fifth Avenue and buy it. And I didn't ask how much it cost. And then I just gave him my card. Like, I didn't even look at what she was charging me until something told me to look at the receipt afterwards. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
But it smells so good and it smells rich. And I like rich scents.
Same. The reason why we're laughing, Damien, we just had the conversation. We had never invested that much in a scent. And audience, we're talking like luxury scents now at this point, right? And so we had, I'm not even going to say the price, but we were just talking about how much it cost in our first time going there and how much of a sticker shock it is. Because it's like, yo, it's just cologne or perfume. Like, what am I doing?
But it's distinctively good.
Oh, it's so good. Now I can't live without it.
Right. And then people tell me all the time that I smell really good. Not like that.
Same. I
I
think the best moment I had was when I went to France. I went to the Louvre. Somebody came up to me and smelled my neck.
Ooh,
and that was such a memorable moment.
That's nice.
Isn't that good, Teedra?
Yeah.
Isn't that good, Teedra?
That's very good.
Teedra, let's just get into you because I am a fan.
Thank you.
And I now understand in this brief room, audience, I never met her before. But I'm understanding very quickly why people connect with you through your music. Your music has such personality, like in your voice. First of all, number one, you're a vocalist.
Thank you.
So let's just start there.
Thank you.
And it's rare that, ironically, I can't believe I even said that, that it's rare that people in the music business are vocalists. Some are manufactured in the studio. Yeah. But you are a vocalist. And I think now I'm noticing that you actually do vocal performance.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of your vocal performance is a part of your personality.
Probably.
I think I'm noticing that because you get so many different styles and attitudes and vibes to your song. Like almost no song is the same. Is that intentional?
No. No, I'm just pouring out what's been poured into me. So whatever comes out is what comes. I don't think too much about it.
Mm-hmm. And you're a writer too.
Yes.
So is that kind of makes why it makes him probably more vulnerable and people to connect with you and your music
I think
in the way
possibly
that it
because I'm
does?
telling a true story, and
Yeah.
normally if you tell a true experience, someone can relate. Most
Mm-hmm.
human beings, you travel all over the world, we're seeking the same things, we're feeling the same things, different, different situations, but it's all kind of the same thing. And I think that if any art, any form of art, if you just pour out the truth, no matter how weird or awkward or deep or shallow, if you pour out truth, there's probably someone that can relate.
Are you nervous to put that out the first time you did it?
I didn't think about it.
You didn't think about it.
It became more nerve-wracking after I realized I had people listening to me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Because then now they know some of your truth.
Not even that they know my truth. It's just like, do I want to say all this stuff? But then it went away really quickly.
Yeah.
Because I think that you have a job as an artist, to be honest.
So we are celebrating 20 years.
Yes. First album.
Of the first album came out in 2004. Now that we're talking about your truth and not your truth, but this vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
How is it going back to Teedra Moses of 2004? Do you recognize her?
I definitely do. I'm so proud of her.
Mm-hmm.
She's grown up so much.
Has she?
Yeah, she's grown up a lot and she's overcome a lot of things. But doing this tour, putting it together, doing these different shows every night, it's made me very emotional. Mm-hmm. It made me realize there were some things I was tucking for survival. It made me realize that I stopped believing in certain things for survival. Just little things that I did for survival. And really, I'm tired from doing this tour because I've had to deal with things that I haven't had to deal with for 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
And even though it's really great and how can I say it feels good and it's grueling at the same time?
Both can be true. I'm a big believer in that.
Yes,
both
and
can be true.
That's kind of what it's been like. But I do recognize her, and I'm very proud of her, and I'm glad she didn't know at that time what she was doing. You know what I mean? I'm so glad, because if I did know at that time, then I probably wouldn't have done what I did. I was just so raw. Yeah, and I like raw Teedra, but I'm glad we polished her up a little bit. I'm glad.
So it's interesting you said that you're tired, but you're tired because the mental, it's emotionally draining.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, by you saying that, did you recognize there was part of 2004 Teedra that had yet to heal that you might have thought you were healed from?
I think it's not the healing. Okay, so I don't know if anyone's ever experienced this. Like, you can be totally healed from something, but remembering it, it's like it's imprinted. The experience and the feelings are imprinted. Just because I remember when my leg is healed. I broke my leg before I made my first album. My leg is healed. But sometimes remembering tumbling down that damn hill is like, wow, that was wild. You know what I mean? And so I think that's what it is. It's like, this reminds me of single motherhood. This reminds me of losing my mother. This reminds me of being an indie artist and trying to figure it out. This 20 years reminds me a lot of things that I just put my head down and push past, and now I have to, as much as I give myself credit and I'm proud of myself, I have to say, damn, I'm tired. You know what I mean? I'm tired. I'm really, really tired. And as tired as I am, I have a moment to allow myself to be tired, but within that tired, there's still a second wind. It's very hard, complex simplicity. There's no other way to explain it. Like, it's very hard to explain, but I'm feeling a lot of things. I'm feeling a lot of things reflecting in retrospect on this album, and where I was and who I was at the time and how I've gotten to get to this place where I am now, all the things I went through. And it's not all negative. It's just stuff. It's just stuff.
So I had a breakfast meeting earlier this week, and I can relate to that.
Okay.
And what I can relate to is when I told this person, this executive, I told him, I was like, I am entering next year feeling the most confident I've ever been about my work. I said that come next year, when I ask you guys for things and I pitch myself, I'm going to make you feel so uncomfortable telling me no, because there's no reason to tell me no. But I said at the same time, I also have felt so insecure. So also to think that there is duality,
Yeah.
Complex Simplicity, the name of the album, and the single, there is this duality that can exist. And I
Yes.
believe both feelings can be true. Like
Yeah.
you can be on stage. When I'm listening to your story, and I think what's beautiful as I'm just listening, I see the image in my head is like you were being celebrated on and loved on as you're thinking about the teacher from 2004 to now that had to go through so many trials, tribulations, the indie route, defining self, defining your voice, defining your agency, but yet the crowd is still there for you.
Yeah, that's a really wonderful, and they've always been there.
I mean, they've never left, but yeah,
they've always been there through the where's Teedra. They knew where I was. I was on
Yeah.
stage rocking out with
Mhm,
them, you know.
mhm.
So they've always been there, and the beautiful thing about making timeless art is that people can find it any time and catch on. You know what I mean? And so in 20 years, I have people that I've seen from day 1, from day 10, from month 10, year 7. You know, I've picked up people along the way, and then there are people that are like 22 years old, 23 years old that just found it. And so I'm just always grateful to connect and grateful that I'm accepted as who I am. Because if you come to my living room, which is my show, I'm not putting on airs in my house for you. You're going to either take me as I am or you could leave. It's okay because we happy over here. You know, we happy with self. And I've been loved on by these people, not just in this 20-year celebration, but they've loved me the entire time. And to see others come in and love on me, and when I say love on me, I'm talking about the persona that people know of me and the music, you know, and to love on me, they get excited for people loving on this person they've been loving on. It's like a us thing.
Yeah.
It's not a me thing. It's like, we did Tiny Desk. We doing this, and we, Teedra, we. And that's how they talk to me, and that's how I feel, because those people kept me. I've never been highly publicized. So it was always a word of mouth. So those people made sure people knew who I was and that music was out there. So it's a beautiful thing.
It's rare that artists can know that they're loved.
Yeah, or care.
Or care that they love.
Yeah, or care. And
why do you say care?
Because I think some artists, I think some people don't invest in caring. It might be too much to care. Because then you have to care if they don't.
Because a mob is fickle.
Right. See, I just take it as it comes. I care that you love me, but I also know what you love. That's why I said when I speak of this, I'm saying me, but I'm speaking of what the image that people know of me, you know?
You can separate the two.
Yeah, well, it's all one.
There's Teedra Moses, the person.
Yeah.
And then there's Teedra Moses, the performer on stage, and the artist.
Yeah, but it's all one thing. It's just because of me being on stage or being in this interview, you're asking me for one side. Maybe if you knew the side that felt this way or that way, you might not like it. So I just stick to this side. They like this side. It's all one person. I don't separate it. It's one person, but I'm only being asked about one side of myself. Or if I'm on stage, that makes me feel sexy, so I'm just giving that side of myself. You know, it's all one person.
Yeah.
But if you knew the other side, you might not like it.
Does that
I think you
concern
would, but I don't know. No, because at the end of the day, I can't please everybody. You know, I can only be me. You know, I can only be who I am, and those that can relate will be a part of it, and those that don't, that's fine. You know.
See, the reason I'm leading in is a little bit to that because I think that so many people can relate to that, right? I think so many people, if you're not an artist, if you work in corporate America, right? If you're a truck driver, we have a lot of truck drivers that are listening, right? No matter what industry that you are working in, I think every American, or not every American, just every human has ego and insecurity, right? And sometimes we always show up as our best, right? And I know it's so interesting. I don't know why she just came to me, but Nikki Giovanni, may she rest in peace, but she has that incredible viral video, I'm sure you've seen it, where she's in conversation with James Baldwin, and they're having a conversation about her wanting her partner to lie to her, and she was saying, referencing to James, that you're out there shucking and jiving for the white man, you're performing, you're smiling. I want you to come home and lie to me. I'm always seeing you at your worst, right? I want to get you the performance. I want to get you're happy, even if you kind of have to lie, right? And so I think all that to say that we all have this insecurity about what happens if you saw the other side. Would you enjoy it? Would you like it? Which allows a lot of us to be guarded.
Yeah.
So for you, you're like, I don't care about
No,
that.
because if you ever come to a show, you've
Yeah.
seen sides. I have a potty mouth. I don't
Mhm.
care. I don't
Yeah.
care about that. Like, if you are offended by, just leave, baby.
Mhm.
Because I'm gonna talk how I want to talk, you know. And I think that I really feel like if you are a person that is tapped into the spiritual side of yourself and your vibrations and the frequencies out here in the world, you'll catch that first before you anything I say.
Mhm.
You'll get into the vibrations before you get into any word I ever say. And so those are my kind of people. I seek out my tribe.
I think there's a freedom with you. I think that's why we started this conversation. That's why I didn't take it playfully about sleeping in the nude. So I think there is a freedom associated with it.
Yeah.
Right. And I do think there's a spiritual connection with that. And I
Mhm.
think you using your sins, I didn't want to get too dumb deep, but I always think there's a freedom in that.
Mhm.
Right. And I think as you were talking, there's a freedom. And an audience, I hope you're catching on to this and to know that there's a freedom of letting that guard down and say, I don't care what you think. I can't keep showing up with this duality, right? Or this three dynamic of me, right? I'm tired of that, right? I want to show up as I am.
But I always have.
Yeah, not you, but I'm saying the
Yeah.
audience is
Yeah,
listening,
exactly.
right? Like I always like to bring my
I
audience
want
into the
that for
conversation.
people.
Yeah, yeah.
I genuinely want that for people. Like, it's a conversation I have all the time with people. It's like, you know what? You cannot control what someone else thinks of you. You can be yourself. However someone digests that and interpret that, that's on them. I don't want to offend anyone. I never want to offend anyone. But if me being myself offend you, that's a you problem, not a me problem. I think everybody wants to be seen in a certain light. They want to be pleasing to everyone. But do you know how many people there are out here? How about we start with just being pleasing to ourselves and God? And then therefore, you know, maybe everybody else will get in line. But if I'm happy with me, I'm a better person. I'm better for the ecosystem if I'm happy with myself, because I can be kind to you when I'm being kind to myself. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I totally understand.
Focus on self, and that helps you become that person that everybody else they're pleased with.
I think Marianne Williamson, she always says that when you liberate yourself, you unconsciously give people permission to liberate themselves.
Exactly.
Right. And I think that's what you're doing today, what you do when you're in the living room, what you do in your music. I think that's what you do. And I think as I'm talking to you now, I feel like that's why it looked like your tiny desk. I got joy.
I had a lot of joy.
I listened to it, watched it live. And then sometimes I'm a little bit weird. Sometimes I get too dumb deep. And then I actually listen to it on mute. And I just watched you. And I was like, damn, she has joy.
And that's just not at tiny desk. That's just where I'm at in life.
Yeah.
I have joy because there was a time when I didn't. And I have it. I recognize it. I thank God for it. And I strive every day to stay in it.
It was just aura. It was just positive energy I felt. Like you just kept smiling.
I was in joy.
Yeah.
It was a joyful time.
That's a choice. Is it a choice for you?
Yes, I think so. Here's the thing. There's so many things have happened. It's all growth. You know, we all have. I'm not saying nothing happened in my life that didn't happen in other people's lives. These are things that we go through in life that we think are normal, and they are normal, but that does not mean they're not painful. Do you understand what I'm saying? And so you have a choice to say, I'm going to suffer, or I'm going to look at this as it is what it is, and I'm going to move on with my life and look for the blessings. This is a painful thing I experience, and I'm going to push through this, and I'm going to look for the blessings, because if I look for the blessings, then beget more blessings, right? And so it's a choice for me to say, this thing is getting on my nerves. I'm going to give it this much time, because I will spaz in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spaz it out, get it out, and move on and find my joy again. You know, it's really a choice to say, I'm in control of this. Yeah. Nothing outside of me can affect me if inside of me doesn't let it. I choose to be in joy and peace. So if I choose that every day, I will literally fight somebody about it. I will be volatile about my joy and my peace. You know what I mean?
How is enjoying Complex Simplicity, the single that's out right now?
Oh, that's wonderful, because that's with my baby Duran Bernard.
Yeah.
And who is right now nominated for a Grammy for his last project, Ego Trippin'. And I think that it is wonderful to have been able to do that record that was very personal to me when I originally wrote it, with someone who is my good friend. And he came and he put all the colors on it. He Duran'd it. He Duran Bernard. He brought his presence, and I think it just turned the song up even more, and I love listening to it.
It did. And what can we expect from you now? I feel like we got to talk music. We talk about so much stuff, which
Yeah,
I wanted to.
I know.
I want to make sure Joe is happy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we are reimagining the complex simplicity with different artists. We have I have some jazz musicians. I have dance art. I have different art friends of mine that are reimagining about 5 or 6 records with me. And then we're moving on to new music. I've had music for a long time held. I complete records at my own pace, but I've had them all sitting there. Most of them are complete now. And I went through a period of time where my children got grown and they left home. And the time when my children were around, I didn't really date. I had focused on making money and taking care of my kids because that's a full-time job. If a man was going to come in, he would have to be someone that was going to infuse something more to the situation, or relieve me of something. Relieve Joe. And so I didn't date a lot. But after my sons left, I said, okay, now I can, start having, dating and have a romantic life. And I literally pulled some bullshit into my life.
Oh, yeah.
I did. And so I wrote a bunch of songs during that time of me pulling this person into my life and then him getting out of my life. But it took me some time to heal what I put myself through. I would say he did, but I learned now I put myself through that stuff. And it took me some time to heal from that before I wanted to release them. One of the records that I released this year was With All My Heart, which is a record that was from that group of songs. And so many of them that we're going to do 3 EPs. It's the good. Bullshit. The first one is The Bullshit Knee Deep. And that's when I was just like deep in it. I couldn't really see, when you just crowded with so much stuff, you can't really see the forest for the trees. That's kind of the state I was in with those songs. And I wrote them all at different times, but I grouped them into where they fit. And the second EP is The Bullshit Undetected, which is your own. Like, we always want to blame things outside of ourselves, but it's really our own thing inside that's causing these problems. And then there's the last one, which is The Bullshit Fertilizer, because these things that you go through that you look at like, this is some bullshit. But if you really look at it, if you learn from the experience, it can make you a better person and it can make you grow.
That's the lessons.
Yeah, exactly.
There's growth in the messy.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I am excited to hear it all.
Oh, thank you.
And you have to come. I would love. I'd love to connect with you and your team to come back and unpack and do like a track by track listening.
That would be great.
And kind of unpacking.
That would be really
some of the
great.
storylines
I would love that.
And the metaphors of that is. I think you have a lot unique perspective on life experiences. And I think it'll be dope to experience that with you as we listen to some of that.
I would love that.
Teedra Moses, thank you for your gift. One, of being a vocalist and a vocal performance. I want to start there.
Thank you.
And I think for being such a great human being.
Thank you.
I've enjoyed really getting to know you through this conversation. My audience knows I write no questions down ahead of time, but I just wanted to get to know you. Like, there has to be something there, because when I pushed mute, that joy was jumping out of that tiny desk, and I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
Happy 20 years.
Thank you.
And cheers to 20 more and 20 more and 20 more.
Yes.
Happy holidays. Until next time, folks.